You gotta think about it. Think about it.
I'm the computer man. I'm the Macintosh man with the virus scan. Moving your files all across the land. Some Photoshop filters in After Dark. Get your Microsoft Office, express your quark. Millions of colors with a VRAM chip. How about a system crash that'll make you flip? I'm the computer man. I'm saying Windows 95 is plug and pray. If it's fonts you want, you gotta go to MacWave. Log right on as my personal guest. You'll have Macintosh software on your desk. Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer man.
Get into a computer.
Hey guys and girls, we are back with episode 4. Slightly delayed episode 4. A combination of attending awesome gaming events in the north of England, in Blackpool. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And overindulging in Zelda, the latest Zelda game, Echoes of Wisdom, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Combined with, a bit of general kind of laziness and enjoying watching crap on the telly. Was the drivers for the delayed release of this episode, so apologies for that. But before we start to talk about anything serious, there's nothing we will be talking about anything serious at all on this particular show, but something keeping me up at night that shouldn't be keeping me up at night is the what the hell happened to, and maybe some of you know, the cheese and pineapple hedgehog. And if I was to create one, what would the modern day price of one of those beasts be? Just think about the amount of cheese. I mean, the pineapple is a fairly premium fruit affair in my book, but you get quite a bit of pineapple chunks out of a pineapple. But cutting up that cheese, I don't even know if this cheese and pineapple hedgehog, did it escape the British waters? Is it something that anyone else in the States, in Australia, or wherever you may or may not be listening to this podcast from, has anyone else come across the phenomenon of a cheese and pineapple hedgehog? I'm going to describe it badly, but back in the 80's, which I was born late 70s, I don't really remember any of that stuff. But in the 80's, I remember when my mum and dad would have a bit of a party, and it could be a birthday party, it could be a few people over. The centre of the table, or just off centre, next to the cheese board, next to the baby sham, and all the lovely 80's cheapo cocktails, there'd be this cheese and pineapple hedgehog. It was, from memory, aluminium foil, kind of scrunched up to make the shape of a hedgehog body, and then with wooden picks, you'd plonk into each of them, a bit of pineapple and then a bit of cheese, and you'd do that a million times over. Then you'd pierce the aluminium foil, thus creating a hedgehog effect, with cheese and pineapple being, apart from the aluminium foil, the sole ingredient. But who the hell invented it? Google can be an arsehole sometimes, because I've tried to Google it. I can find very little on it, apart from people taking the pee or asking the same question as me: who invented it? Where did it come from? The closest semi-credible thing I could find, which isn't, arguably isn't even really linked to it, is pineapple cheese itself, an infusion of pineapple within cheese, patented in the US in 1810 by someone. And then I was thinking, bloody hell, where else would such a protein fibre combo exist? And then I thought, you idiot, I have them probably every other week. On average, a pineapple, a Hawaiian pizza, I should say. Obviously cheese on the pizza. That'd be criminal not to be having a bit of cheese and a bit of tomato. Well, for me, and so if you're vegan, then you could be having something very, very different, and that is your choice, my friends. the Hawaiian with the pineapple, and that kind of works. And I do, you know, people a bit Marmite, people are like, oh, I don't like that, but for me, I love it. And also when I was googling, because I was so desperate, thinking every fucking answer to every quandary in the world is on Google, and even came up with the amount of issues that one may have if you were to mix, you know, I say mix, have a glass of milk on one side and then have a bit of pineapple on the other, and then commingle the two. Apparently can cause some disastrous stomach effects. So I don't quite know how you'd I don't know, get that into some kind of gag, a practical wind up, clearly trying to semi-poison someone else, but yeah, I don't really know why you'd want to do it, but hey ho, such is life. Moving on.
Miss A. Weston, secretary, tights by time, 9 till 5 tights, daytimes, smoothly efficient. Angie Weston, hair down, having fun, tights by time, playtimes, happily pretty. Miss Angela Weston, lady in love, tights by time, love times, soft, sheer, and romantic.
Easier to choose than a man.
From the round-the-clock collection of tights by time.
So one of the aforementioned reasons for this podcast being released late, aside from my laziness, was attending the super intensely awesome Play Expo event up in Blackpool. I'm part of the UK, or in the part of the UK. I live in the UK. My geography is crap. So for anyone that doesn't know that, you know, and lives outside of the UK, where you've got a even more credible reason not to know your UK geography, it is to the northwest of England. It's on the coast. It's a seaside resort. It has a wonderful tower that has far more girth than the Eiffel Tower, and yeah, it's a pretty awesome place. And this event itself, the Play Expo, apparently been going on for many years. This year was my first time as an attendee. I went up there with some awesome people. So yeah, a guy that's the first one has been on many a journey with me as we travel the UK, attending events, and always me taking the wrong direction, getting us lost, crying with laughter due to some of the anecdotes. So that, of course, is Scott, Marathon Gaming, and always a giggle. So he's not far from me. And then the other equally awesome dude, who through the 12 hours in the car and many more at the event, we got to know each other even better. I met him before, but lovely guy. So Alex, U-Star Gamer, if I remember, I better bloody remember to, I'll be linking their channels below. Far better channels than mine. So if you are subscribed to me and you're not subscribed to them, damn, you're fools. Check them out. Honestly, they are absolutely friggin' awesome. And we just had an absolute giggle. Alex lives slightly north of where I am, but through the odd challenge of UK motorways and roads and stuff. And I didn't believe him at first, but I took it to Google Maps after I spoke to him before, and it's more straightforward for him to drive down to where I am, and then we'll drive up collectively, then to do a kind of a two-phase journey. So that's exactly what we did. We had a silent yet deadly companion in the car, Bootleg John. We kind of hid him away, said hello grumpily, and then we pushed him to one side. But he made an appearance later on in Blackpool, the sod. So we arrived there. We needed to do some wheeler dealing, so we met up with another tuber, the Fab Pete, on a retro tip at his residence for the weekend. So we bumped in. We had an organised meet up with him. Did the business, and then we headed to our hotel, which was friggin' amazing. I don't mind where I stay in terms of hotels, as long as it's kind of clean. I'm not bothered about the decor. I'm not bothered about, if it looks like it's fresh out of the the kind of the 80's. I'm not bothered if karaoke is the main course every night of the week. So I didn't have a problem with the Regal. Shout out to the Regal, amazing place, and even their prices. They weren't quite 80's prices, but they were so much more reasonable than the mofos that charge me for beer. I'm not in London. I'm not an hour away. I seem to get charged London prices. Southern prices just suck. There it was reasonable prices, and if you wanted, not that we had any shots, but I saw the post-it notes that they had and the cut-out star-shaped luminous price tags, 99p if you wanted to double up on your spirit of choice. I thought that was good. So we had one in there. We met up with, I'm going to forget names, so massive apologies up front for those I do forget, but a name I do remember because he's a bloody top guy, Super Jim Tendo, Jim, who lives nearest to where we were staying. He popped in. To be fair, he's got a lot of respect from Bootleg John. They've had some dealing in the past. And I'd kind of exchanged messages and the rest of it, but never sunk a beer, never had a kind of a side-by-side chat and a tickle, and it was really bloody pleasant. It was amazing. So we did that, and then we hit the most modern form of transport there is, the tram, and it's a very linear route, and I think it was about 3 or 4 stops between where we were. I don't even remember the name of the tram stop, but that tram stop, and then the Norbreck, which is the hotel which was hosting the event. We headed there on the Friday evening. We went to a bar that sounds like it should be out of Twin Peaks, but a couple of the words are not the same. As is it One Eye Jack's? We went to Copperface Jack's, part of the same chain, undoubtedly. An air of mystery behind it, but went in there, and then lo and behold, I'm not going to name everyone because I will forget, because it was just the most intense, largest rabble of YouTubing people that I know that I've ever seen in one place. And I've been to some awesome events, and they are awesome, but in terms of the volume of peeps in one place, peeps meaning people, it was pretty high numbers, and a few of them I'd met before, some of them a few times, some of them like briefly, so that was kind of cool, and I feel a bit obliged to shout out a few names. So Stu, Tutu UK, Marcus, Dad and Lads Gaming. I should have done a list with Tommy, his son. We had the Welsh, what do you call it? Welsh consistency? It's not consistency. The Welsh representation, we'll call it that. They were there, and one of them I'd met, Craig, Goodwin's Place, absolute top guy, such a lovely bloke. 2 of them I hadn't. One of them, both of them channels I've been watching for quite some time. One a little bit more than the other, and I'm not going to put them in a sequence because it sounds like this is where it's going, but it's not. So no particular order. Matt, Metropolis, it's alphabetical order, and Retro Red Steve, and it was an absolute blooming joy to chat with both those guys, to sink some beers with those guys, and then on the next day to enjoy the event with those guys. And Retro Red Steve, I'm very sure he was one of my early subscribers that I of course reciprocated, because I didn't even know there was a kind of a UK gaming scene, because YouTube didn't allow me to search in a constructive manner. But I'm sure he was one of the early, him, Feed Me Chicken, Mark, GSG, and a couple of other people. But yeah, all these events, I've never met Steve, and wow, an absolute dude of a guy, someone that carries similar stature to myself, which I was pleased about, because the 2 lumps that have been in the car of me on the way up there are fucking towers of human beings, and every photo, every selfie looked like I was on my knees, I think they were on tiptoes just to kind of really rub it in. So when I met Steve, it was a joy. It was a joy. I kind of regained all senses in my legs, and yeah, I think we had a cuddle. We must have had a cuddle. I'd had probably only 2 beers, but even without beers, there would have been cuddles. And yeah, and then there was a whole array of others, and people have done, and I'll try and remember to tag people and tag videos that they've done. There's videos and there's photos and things of all of the folk that were there, but it was a big event. I had too many. I don't normally I have a few on a weekend, but I don't normally bring it on that much at all. And yeah, I think I did bring it on a little bit. We did a bit of a squabble with, or I had a bit of a squabble with the one of the barmaids who was tried to take contactless payment, and then the machine was she blamed it on my card, and I was just like, okay, I don't think it's that. Did she just been paid? I'll try another card, which I never use the other card, like credit card, literally for like, you know, emergencies. You need a new Game Boy game. no true emergencies, people. That when that didn't work, I was just like, this effing play. It's the machines. But she had the right ache. She gets the manager out. He comes and has a look, and then lo and behold, after like what felt like 10 minutes of troubleshooting, he's like, yeah, it's the card machine. So she then looks back at me and she's just like, well, you know, how are you going to pay? Someone's like, how are you going to pay for those? And I was like, well, I've got cash. I did turn up with cash because, funnily enough, Alex and Scott were like, I don't think they take card at the Norbrec, and they're probably thinking more for the traders. So I was intending to be buying booze with cash. So I offer that up, and she points at the sign that says, we don't take cash, just contactless payments. I was just like, what the F? You know, what else do you want me to strip down? Tell you a joke? I don't know, sell you a game, loan out my shoes. So it was a bit odd, and we were kind of there. By this time I'm sipping away at my beer, and I think I bought probably a couple of other beers for other people. I hope I did, otherwise I'm going to come across really effing selfish. And I don't remember the next bit, but I did walk away from the bar, and probably a good 15-20 minutes after that, I had a tap on the shoulder from the lady saying, when are you going to pay for these drinks that you've taken? So I looked at her and said, card machine working? She says no. And I said, you take cash? And she's like, oh yeah. So I paid cash. Random anecdote, but just like, what, WTF? That was just like, yeah, was a bit nuts. But we finished. Some people went off for some cheeky shenanigans, or just shenanigans, I don't know. And I think I was feeling that I'd had probably too many at that point, and that to overindulge further would have meant that the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the rest of my week probably would have been written off completely. So I kind of realised enough was enough. The other guys, fortunately, were aligned in that sentiment, and we all got on the tram. We headed back. These guys, like animals, they've been thinking about this kind of pizza kebab place. I remember what it was called. Maybe just called Pizza Kebab Place. No, I don't think it was. Right by the tram station. We headed in there. Funnily enough, I think I had a cheese and pineapple pizza. I'm trying to call it a pineapple pizza. Doesn't make any sense. And a chips. Took it back to the room, and I think I ate like a pig. I really do think I had no manners whatsoever. I was solo, but I was famished by this point, and it's not good. I pretty much polished all of it. I had a damn good night's sleep, and then I was woken up on the Saturday 7:30 by 2 notifications on my phone. The first one was that my car, part of the parking for my car, was due to expire in like 27 minutes. And then the second one was perhaps a bit more worrying, that my app on my phone had notification saying that the boot of my car was open. Being a lazy git, the first thing I did was to go onto the parking app and try and extend it, but there was a no 3-hour return policy, so I was literally forced to get my kegs on, and crawl back to this car park. Fortunately, the boot was shut, so I just don't think we slammed it hard enough the day before. So that's good because we had some arcade valuables in the back. It would not have gone down well, but that was okay. And then I found a car park next to the car park. And then as I was strolling back, people were way too chatty in the north. 3 independent people, mainly people on benches, literally just soaking up that they were still alive, and the sun. It was a remarkable weather all weekend. Started to like open up conversation, and it was at that point that I'd really thought, I don't feel particularly great, and that was a theme that carried through the day. Fortunately, due to meeting some fantastic people, having a great time, having good chats, and staying hydrated, it did not ruin the day. But I'm just glad that the shenanigans didn't happen on the Friday. So we congregated downstairs. We got back on the tram. We went back to the event. We met some new people. As in new as in seeing them in Blackpool, such as Dylan, Hyper Trigger X, always fab to see him, and then some new people that I hadn't met before, one of which was Ollie, 8-Bit Boy, the guy that had laid out all those Master System challenges, that does the best of the best pickups, that imports some juicy Sega from Japan. He was standing there in front of me, and we were shoulder to shoulder. No tiptoes required. Again, him, me, and Steve were just like, perfect individuals. Perfect stature, I should say. Definitely not perfect individuals. Oh, just having a glug of water. Still staying hydrated. Fantastic to chat with Ollie, and to be fair, when him and Steve and a few of the others. We kind of mingled most of the day, enjoyed stuff together, had bants together, shared pickups together, got thrashed on Mortal Kombat, I did by bloody Steve. I think I gave him a fairly good, bit more of a rounded encounter on the Street Fighter 2, but yeah, Mortal Kombat, he absolutely whipped. I don't think I got anything in. He just absolutely caned me, but no, it was good. I grabbed a few bits, part of my pickups, do a separate pickups video to go through what they were, got some stuff, played some games. There was an indie section which was a bit random. I think it was Scott came over, Marathon Gaming, and was like, we're in a game. I was like, what are you talking about, you lunatic? And he dragged me over to see this absolutely charming guy. And I think was it Retro Gaming Odyssey? It's the name of the guy. This guy's business, or one of his projects I knew, which was pulling together a directory of all of the retro gaming related shops, museums, and stuff in the country. And I've seen that in a few other places. I've seen the website itself, but off the back of that, he's taken the ingredients, as in all of these places, he's popped them into a game. Which to me looked like a bit of a top-down 8-bit Ghostbusters on the Spikey, like the road layout when you were driving around. To the others, perhaps a bit more attuned to stuff. They said it was like, an early GTA or GTA 1 or 2 kind of there. I think they're probably right. But it's kind of a grid network, of roads. But geographically, Essex, Retro Hunter, Miso is down towards the south. And then Doorway to Darkness is further up north. It's kind of roughly things are where they should be, but the absolute doner kebab of it all is that you drive around and then other cars that drive past you are other YouTubers. It's just like what the heck, and you collect money off the road. You pop into places, you choose what system you want to collect for. Different shops have different games. You build your collection up. You got to be home by 5, otherwise your mum or dad gives you a kicking. Take some of your pocket money away, I think. Sunday the shops are shut, so what do you do? Of course you go to the car boot. It's the only way to get games. It's awesome, and this guy has got some great ideas for how he's going to further develop it. It's going to come out next year at some point. I did cheekily get a in a lovely kind of in a cassette case, even get my bloody words out. It even done it prints off a nice little inlay, and then a memory stick, so I can play the game and show off to the missus. I'm in a game. It's not that she even looks the same way. But yeah, that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. Can't remember the guy's surname, but yeah, James. James, I know you watch some of my crazy content. You commented on a few recent videos, so big thank you. But I think the biggest thank you of all is probably on behalf of all of those shops, all those individuals, the tubers, that you very very kindly embellished and you put within your game. That is, respect should go to you, my friend. That is incredible. So when we're kind of at that more general release thing, and it's kind of it's out there and it can be downloaded or whatever, or if there's possibilities for other people to let's get physical, even better. We will I'm sure me and other folk that are within the game will be doing our bestest to get it out there and get it played. And there'll be challenges as well. And that's the other. I won't go into much detail and steal the thunder, but there'll be some challenges that will result off the back of this game. So super cool. We were there. The day went in a flash. The Expo, it just went so quickly. I got to the Saturday evening. A few of the folk went to the arcades in Blackpool, and I think I'd been there probably not that a few weeks before with Steve. 90G had met up with him and we'd gone there, and we played arcades in the day. So Scott, Alex, and I thought we'd just hit a few pubs. It was busy. There was, I think, a massive fireworks thing on the go. So it was like the whole of the north had descended on the town. But it was nice. It was nice. It was good to see, a nice busy place. Kind of families out and about. I think it was like stag do's. People dressed up in inappropriate clothing. My front door's going. 2 seconds. Back with it. Real time issues. So yeah, no, it was super cool. So we hit a couple of pubs, a couple of bars. Who did we meet up with? We met up with Paul Retrobate. So he came to find us, and had a few beers with him. We, in a semi-legal sense, graffitied the place with stickers that Bootleg John had organised in some offshore factory somewhere. So these stickers had been put up during the day, just left around the event by someone, and it kind of continued in the evening. And funnily enough, Paul Retrobate saw one, and he's just like, I've seen these stickers all day. I wondered who the hell it was. And we're like, man, it's Bootleg John. So at that point, I think Bootleg John kind of took over. There are photos on my community page thing on Instagram where you can see exactly what he got up to and where. But it's pretty low. So we had a few. I was conscious I was driving back, so I didn't have as many as I did on the Friday. And we headed back from whence we came. We got the tram the other way, got to the hotel, and I saying that before we went to the hotel, we popped our head into the kebab place. What time do you shut? They said 12:30. Went to the hotel bar and may have polished another couple of bottles. I was trying out I haven't had them in ages, the Desperados. A bit of beer with some, a bit of a citrus, fruity, spicy, semi-spicy affair. Very nice. And slightly easier going than the Friday night. I just hit the pints. So Saturday was from pints to bottles. That's how it played out. We went to the bar. There was some gnarly karaoke, which at the time I wanted to get involved in, but right here, right now, I'm glad I didn't get involved in, because that would have gone viral for all the wrong reasons. Would have been way more successful than my standard average content. But we enjoyed. The locals were getting truly stuck in, and fair play to them. It was fun. It really, we were clapping, we were cheering them on. cheering them on, I should say, not cheering them on. That sounds like a boo. So we did that. Then hunger hit. I hadn't really eaten much all day since a little breakfast pastry because of the hangover. So we went back to the kebab place. I think I had exactly the same again. I think Scott may have swapped pizza for garlic bread or something, but I think maybe got the cheesy chips. I just did the same again as Sam, and it was just a copy and paste, and then I was back to the hotel. And then the next day, 5-6 hours getting back, but in the companies of awesome people. Those two, absolute bloody legends. I can't wait to see those guys again and hit the road in another retrosexual manner. I really can't wait, but it felt like it went in a flash. So big up to everyone that I met, everyone that I forgot to mention, and but particular standout big up to Alex and Scott. Top stuff. So very quickly, in terms of stuff that I've been watching, I thought I would call out the Mr. McMahon Netflix drama biography, I should say, biography of Vince McMahon, and really, I think it was a 6-part thing. I say it's on Netflix, about an hour an episode on average. But I saw it. It was obviously a lot of focus on him, a lot of it through his eyes, but the eyes of other, wrestlers, other people involved in that industry, journalists, promoters, etc., competitors. But I did see it as probably more of a history of the, I still call it the WWF, the World Wrestling Federation. More of that from the kind of, the grassroots coming up into, what it is, arguably today. There was little in there about Vince's childhood, I thought. A bit of focus on his father. And then it's very quickly how he kind of progresses into taking over his father's interests. And then ultimately what he then, grew and took over loads of those competitors and grew it into the WWF. And of course, it wouldn't be Netflix drama without the drama. There's scandal teasers right from the off. But I found it a bit of a wrestling novice. I remember it back in the day. I had the sticker albums. Watched, I think it was on like Sky, maybe Sky One. Used to watch it a bit with my dad. I don't think he particularly enjoyed it. I think he was just watching it to appease me. But I'm still a novice, and I think beyond those years I didn't really follow it that much. So for those people perhaps a bit more into their wrestling, I'm not entirely sure how much new stuff there really is over that 6 hours. But for me, I thought it was good. It was good. The ending piece around, I won't do any kind of spoilers, albeit it's all it's quite commonplace news type stuff. I didn't think the way they rounded it off was that great in terms of the series. But it is what it is. But I think above all, it was cool to see some of those old school wrestlers, such as Randy Savage. And talking of Randy Savage,
it's a retro shout out.
Right, wanted to a retro shout out. The retro man, Randy Savage. I think he's the coolest looking guy in the tubes. An all-round top guy. Always comments, always banter, always suggestions, recommendations. Love his comments. Absolute dude. I think he's the walking encyclopedia, particularly when it comes to your trainers, your sneakers. I think you could probably identify a pair of Nike Air, and the year that they were made and manufactured, probably by their smell alone. He knows his Reebok pumps. He's got a PhD in the kind of the plastic and the engineering that went behind the various types of Reebok pumps. He knows it all. Check out his channel. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And he does. There's broader stuff in there. He's got a really good series. Was checking out cassettes of classic albums, soundtracks. I'm sure there's a bit of Lost Boys on there. Def Leppard, for sure. So go and check him out. Conscious that aside from the Gaming Expo, the Play Expo, I've said little about gaming. At the moment, most of my time is still spent on Zelda. Fantastic game. Echoes of Wisdom. I think I'm 4 dungeons in now. Really enjoying it. I'm pretty hooked on it, to be honest. Loving this echo ability. I don't know if anyone else has played it, but at the moment I feel like most of the echoes I'm creating are either beds to make bridges or spiders to climb up walls, the odd kind of creature to fight with. But yeah, absolutely loving it. It's a bit of a combination of some of those item creation aspects from Tears in the Kingdom, but comboed with I think a much needed return to that kind of traditional top-down Zelda. Loving it. I've got a few more dungeons to go. I've got quite a few more hours to put into it. It's kind of ramping up a little bit in terms of the difficulty level. I think the last boss was still relatively reasonable, but I suspect it's going to get tougher and tougher. But yeah, highly recommended. And finally, yeah, don't forget, hit me up in the comments if you'd like to chuck in a silly advert. Doesn't have to be hi-fi, doesn't have to be particularly well edited. None of this stuff is. If you don't want to hit me up in the comments, if you want to send me a message, then I'm on the likes of Instagram, or what else am I on? A bit of Facebook. But yeah, whatever your means of communication is, letter, let me know. Or even if you want to contribute by adding in a little segment of what you've been up to, go for it. And I think, like I said before, like to say I'll offer you fame and fortune, but I'm a bit of a miser. I'm a small channel. I'm not monetized. But where I can and where logistics allows, you probably get a Retrohead badge and one of my very meaningful, heartfelt thanks. And yeah, love you and leave you. Bootleg John has recorded the outro, so yet again, begrudgingly, I hand over to him. Cheers.
Do not forget to dislike and unsubscribe and all that uncool stuff. And by the way, the YouTube algorithm can go and kiss my old sprayed ass.